Crime Fighters, the #1 security program on television.
Thank you for joining us on Crime Fighters, the Police and You. Today we'll take you to Abia State, where we'll bring you an update of the activities of the Abia State Police Command. And our crime scene segment is about the story of 3 employees of Techno-Crime Security Outfit who made the news for stealing properties they were supposed to protect. It's been said it's a case of a dog eating the bone hung on his neck. But why did he do that? Was it because of starvation? Never mind, you get to hear from them as they tell their story. Don't go nowhere, stay tuned. I'm Gladys Azabi.
This can be one of the best police forces in the world. We will be whatever you make us. We need your cooperation. Just cooperate with us and make us the best in the world. Thank you.
Crime Fighters, the Police and You, the Nigeria Police Force, more people friendly.
Once again, welcome to Crime Fighters, the Police and You. This is the interview segment, and we'll be interviewing the Commissioner of Police for Abia State, Mr. Jonathan Johnson. Thank you, sir, for giving us your time.
Thank you very much.
All right. You're just 1 month in office, and we know a lot of things you've been putting a lot of things in place. So what step have you taken to fight against kidnapping and bank robbery in the state?
Each commissioner of police has his own way of tackling peculiar situations. Like when I came, I decided just to put few things in place, trying to reorganize some notable area that has some flaws. And I also try as much as we could, to bring the courage of the men back by embarking on each 2 of the roadblocks. And by so doing, we were able to, speak to them, talk to them, assuring them that all is well. I think that is a few things I've done.
Now, we know the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Ogechi, has been very concerned about the increase of kidnapping and allied offenses in the southeast especially. And he had given directives that the CPs of these various states must work together, to combat or to bring this crime to the barest minimum. How far have you gone in, working with other states to fight these crimes?
Yeah, we've been sharing some information. For instance, if there is a case of kidnapping that has just taken place in Abia, we will normally alert other neighboring states. We alert Enugu, we alert Anambra, and so on and so on. Like the recent achievement we recorded, where the victim was rescued and 1 other victim was killed by the kidnappers. It came about because we had a share this information. When it took place, we alerted Port Harcourt, and Port Harcourt just alerted the ATM and our mobile men, and then together they fought the hoodlums, and we were very, very successful. In fact, that thing gave us some joy because, if you give information to one another, you can easily control the situation rather than working alone.
You mentioned that you've been sharing information with neighboring states, and that has been quite encouraging. So, the police have always complained that they do not get enough information from members of the public. So, in your own opinion, what would you say is responsible? Would you say Nigerians are just indifferent to security issues, or probably a lot of people are ignorant about the fact that they should give information to the police?
Surprisingly, in Abia State, I found a different complaint entirely, because the people here, most of the achievement we recorded within these 30 days. If you see our records now, we are made possible by the information we got from members of the public. So I would say in the Abia State, generally, there is that cooperation from members of the public, especially the men from, I would not say men, especially the PCRC. They are willing to give us information. Like I've just told you, the incident of the kidnapper that were arrested and the rescue of the victim was made possible because an informant just called us on phone and said, so thing just took place, and we pursue it. So we receive tremendous cooperation from members of the public. But in the time past, people always said because police divulge information, they are no longer willing to cooperate by giving us information. That's a general complaint. But I say, like other CPs used to say too, it's not an excuse because we have our telephone numbers, which you can withhold and give us information. You can send text message to us. You can also write anonymous letter to us. You can as well link out to some high-profile individual in the society that can give us information of which to work with. So it's no longer a tenable excuse for somebody to say, but because police are this and that, they no longer go. But in Abia, I found it different.
Knowing that we are now in the Ember months, and a lot of people would want to come back home, but for the fear of the recent happenings, the stories everybody have been hearing about kidnap and robbery and all of that, a lot of people might be having a second thought about, coming back to the east for Christmas and all that. So what would you have to say to the members of the public as regards security, especially during this period?
Well, I'm glad to say that in Abia, we are almost recording, what do I call it now? We have no case of kidnapping for quite some time. And I will also want to say that you drove throughout the night. You came here around 11 in the night. And you could see that each area or each junction you pass, there are a lot of policemen on duty. That is to tell you that we have blocked the perceived dangerous areas. And I'm just assuring the indigenes of Abia State not to panic. They should all return. And that the state is quite safe. The robbery incident and kidnapping, we have brought it to the lowest minimum by the grace of God. And we shall continue. They should just have confidence in us, give us more information to work with. And this thing will be things of the past.
So looking at the various challenges that keep cropping up every day to face the Nigerian police, the police boss has said that it's going to focus on capacity building, which involves training and retraining of officers and men. Do you organize in-house training for your men, probably to be able to equip them with the peculiarity of the states?
Yes, we have. For instance, the ATS men just returned from Ila. They've just gone there and did, I think, about 30 days or so training. I'm not sure of the number of days they spend there. We have 2 units now of our men from the squadrons at Nawa PMF training school. They are undergoing training. These are, in-house training, even though it is being sponsored by the Force Secretary's department. But in our own locality here, we have our local training. Like by the time you came in the morning, if you have listened, you would have heard our PMF shouting and so on and so forth. Even our regular policemen inside town, we join them sometime in those local training. We have them. Those may not be enough, but just to keep, the men active in a terrible situation.
I'm sure you have a goal for this state, so that as at the time you're living in Abia State, probably the people of Abia State will be saying something about what you left behind. What is that thing you would like to achieve in this state before you?
Well, it will be too difficult for somebody to predict what his tomorrow could be. But sincerely speaking, if by the grace of God, I wish that by the time I'm leaving Abia State, people should be able to say, yes, there was this gentleman that came, and he was able to put in his best. That's all I could say, because I won't say I want to do that because I'm not God. It's only God that can give us that. But I wish, that is just my desire, that by the time I'm leaving this state, people will say, this man has put in his best.
In case you're just joining us, we've been chatting with the Commissioner of Police for Abia State, Mr. Jonathan Johnson. Thank you very much for giving us your time, sir.
Thank you very much.
I do hope you enjoyed that chat with him. Stay tuned.